Hi guys! You've stopped at Southern California for the next leg of this road trip, and I popped into my local Goodwill and Salvation Army to get ready for these next crafting projects. This is one of my favorite challenges, and I have more about this challenge and the hosts and all the wonderful prizes that will be given away later in the video. For now, let's get crafting. I grabbed a lot of fun stuff at my local thrift store, and some of them I turned into some Christmas projects for you. I started with this metal frame I found for $3.99, and I'm going to take it apart and clean it really good. I also found this pack of Christmas cards. There's a lot still left in here, but I'm going to use one of them for my frame. I started by painting my frame with red crimson chalk paint. I used a sponge just because it gets really into, there's a lot of nooks and crannies on this frame, and it got into all of the little places that I needed it to. In order to get the edges really well, I used this triangle ruler. It really helped. Now I'm going to cut down some paint stir sticks, and I'm going to make a plank board to mount my frame to. I cut the handles off, and I'm also using some planks from Dollar Tree. Everything I used some antique wax on and stained really well, and then rubbed it in. After everything was stained, I then took my sanding board. Oh, I'm doing the back of the frame. For some reason, I was thinking it was going to show through, so I wanted the back to be stained as well. Didn't happen, so you can skip that part. But I did distress all the edges of all the planks so that they had a good worn look. Now I'm going to cut my card down so it's not going to quite fit in the frame. So I took a piece of cardstock and I covered it in some Dollar Tree white burlap. And I'm just, I put some glue down, and I'm adhering that burlap to that cardstock. That's going to mat my little card photo well. Trimming away the edges. Now for my plank board, I started on one end and I glued my plank to the very edge of my paint sticks. And now I'm going to do the other edge, and that way I can center the middle one very easily. You can see my card is mounted on that burlap covered cardstock as well too. I trimmed down the edges. I also tacked the glass into my frame. You can see there's edges around the frame that go over the glass, and I just tacked the glass in there to stay. Because the back of my frame has kind of a curved in edge to it, I used some craft sticks to glue. I do have some blocks underneath it, but that helped me for gluing this frame down. I had something better to glue and adhere to my plank. In all my gluing, I used a combination of E6000 and some hot glue. But I'm going to glue these down. This also helps my frame kind of stick off the plank a little bit, so I have room to slide my picture down in there. Glued my frame down. Let that get good and secure. And now I'm going to slide my card in. And I glue the back of my frame to the back of my plank. That way it has something to stand this frame up to. I had to trim it just a little bit, but it fit right between those two planks. And that's how this frame turned out. I really like it. It's kind of a vintage, old Christmassy feel. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments. This challenge is one of my favorites and brought to you every other month. And here are the crafting cousins to tell you about this challenge and the prizes.
Welcome to the Thrift Flip Road Trip. Today we're kicking off an exciting open challenge hosted by UnicornDustDesigns, Crafting Cousins, and our special guest co-host Tami from HappinessCreated. Watch as talented creators breathe new life into forgotten treasures, transforming them into something extraordinary. November is Subscriber Appreciation Month, and as a thank you for your amazing support, we're giving away fabulous prizes to 9 lucky winners. Here's what you could win. A box of craft supplies from Crafting with Indiana Jones, a deluxe easy bow maker from Buckeye Girls Lifestyle, a Creative Memories card kit from Creative Pages with Catherine, cordless electric scissors from Crafting Up a Storm with Shar, a hobby knife set and self-healing cutting mat from HappinessCreated, a brayer set from I'm Merely Melissa, a $50 Amazon gift card from DIY with Aria, a $50 Amazon gift card from Crafting Cousins, and a $100 Visa gift card from CJ DIY. To enter, watch the November Thrift Flip Road Trip playlist and comment on your favorite project from each creator. Remember, you must leave a comment on every video in the playlist to be eligible to win. Mark your calendar for Saturday, November 23rd, when we'll announce the winners on our community tabs. Due to shipping costs, this giveaway is open to U.S. residents only. Don't miss out on your chance to win. Follow the playlist in the description box below and spread the love.
Found this cute candle holder can for $2.99, and it's Christmassy already, but I'm going to update it for my decor. So I'm back with that sponge and the crimson chalk paint. I like the texture that the sponge gives the paint. So I painted everywhere. I did have to go into some of the spots with a paintbrush and then kind of tap over it with my sponge, but I did get several coats on it, and now it's good and red and got some texture to it. I'm going to go around the edges with some black, and I went around all the little edges with it just to add that nice black trim. I also Mod Podged over this one to protect it as well too. I have some of this velvet ribbon from Dollar Tree from the fall or Halloween time, and I just took one strip and I folded them in. That way I still have the wire that are in the edges, and it really holds that ribbon well, but it's not so wide. I need it to be a little bit thinner. So I just folded it in and did a line of glue and glued the 2 edges in. Now I'm taking some foam. This is a thick foam that I have. You can use cardboard, you can use air dry clay, whatever you want, but I'm going to make a buckle for my belt, and I just kind of cut a square with 2 rectangles out of it. I'm going to paint that with metallic gold paint and make sure I get all the little edges of it. I do the front and the back just so I make sure it's covered. I'm going to go in and distress all of it with some antique wax. I distressed the belt buckle and then decided I wanted to distress the can just a little bit as well too with my antique wax. What I like to do is go in with a flat brush, and for the buckle I just went into kind of the corners and brushed some on, and I like to use a flat brush to apply everything, and you'll see here I just went around the edges, but then I'm going to use that stencil dry brush to kind of rub it in and make it so it's not such an obvious line. It's very, very slight for this can. I didn't go in very heavy-handed. Now I'm going to make my belt for my can, and I just wrapped my ribbon, my belt around. But before that, I decided I wanted to put something on the inside of my handle. So I did cut down a piece of that same ribbon, and I glued it inside my handle. And now I'm gluing that belt down. And I just glued one end and then I folded over the edge of the last end and glued that down. And now my can has a nice belt buckle and looks like Santa. You could use it for a candle or floral or whatever you like. Let me know what you think. Now I found this frame at the secondhand store, and I agree, it is hard. But I'm going to use this just for the frame because I love the shape of it. I also found several sets of this decoration. There's a little hat, a snowflake, a little sign, a little booth. I'm going to use the snowflake, the little sign, and the skate for this project. And I took my frame apart and I'm going to use some of the fern chalk paint. I covered the back of my frame with some regular colored burlap from Dollar Tree and put that back in. I just put glue on the back of my frame and pressed that down, and then I went around the edges because they're not a good straight edge. I went around. It was easier to use my straight knife on it and go around and cut the rest of the burlap away. And then I liked all of the pieces, but I didn't care for the decoration on the skate. I wanted it to just be white, so I decided to go over it with some white chalk paint. The snowflake has a metal piece on the top of it, so it's going to be fine. It doesn't have to exactly match the skate. And the skate has a metal piece on the bottom, so they still go together. And this is my frame. Tell me what you think. For this project, I found this little, I guess it's a hook. It's a resin back to look like a doorknob. And I used a Dollar Tree metal candle holder. Now, I just wanted to take the top off. I want to use the stand on this. I rocked it back and forth, and once it came off pretty easily, but just remember it's sharp. So I kind of went about this a little backwards, but I did take the mirror out of the little resin piece, and I wanted to put a decorative back in it. So I did that, but before I did that, which I didn't know I was going to do, I found a button, one of those buttons that has just the loop in the back, and I'm going to use it to kind of secure slightly this stand to my resin doorknob. And so I used a zip tie, and that's just going to at least hold that in place, and then I'm going to put a lot of hot glue behind it. So now, in a better order, I have everything put together, and I decided to cover the back of my piece with some foam. That way it looked a little better on the back. So I did use some just regular Aleene's craft glue, and I glued this piece of foam to the back of my project, and now I'm going to cut it away. Of course, it didn't adhere completely on the sides, so I am going to put some glue around the edges and clip that down. Now, I will go back in with a popsicle stick, because if I just use these clips, they do make a kind of an impression in my foam, and it won't look good. So there's that craft stick. Once everything was good and adhered and dried, I went over everything with some ink chalk paint, because I wanted everything to have the same base to start with. The stand on my candle holder and everything. Once I have it all black so it matches and the tone will be even, I go back over with a sponge and some, I believe I used cashew chalk paint on this, and I painted over all of it. Now, I could distress it by sanding some edges, but I decided to go in and paint distress. And I used that flat brush and some more ink chalk paint around any edge that I felt I wanted to distress and bring out kind of an old-fashioned vintage look to it. I also went over the decoration a bit on my doorknob to bring that decoration back out. And then I also used a little bit of my Inca Gold rub paste to put a little gold on the end of that doorknob too. And just add just a little different color that will match the background. Now you can use this to hang a little wreath, to hang a decoration. I found these bells at Walmart. I think they were $1.99, $1.97, something like that. And I thought they went perfect. Let me know what you think. I found some really great decorative metal signs at the secondhand store, so I thought I'd use one. I'm going to make a project very similar to a project in the last challenge, the 5 Under 5. Emily at FarmCharmChic did a frame with a Santa, and I loved it, so I'm going to do my version. I found this sign. I painted the back of it. I had wanted to cover the back of the sign, so I didn't worry about taking the vinyl off, but I did paint it. I was going to use burlap. I changed my mind later, you'll see. I went back to that red crimson paint and painted that metal frame. And I found this Santa at Walmart, and I decided I wanted to change him. He had glitter. First thing I did is start by trying to loosen that glue, and I just immediately melted a little hole in his hat. So I am going to fix that. I'll tell you how I do that later. But I was able to pull him off. I just kind of had to work at that glue. He's a very light kind of plasticky resin. So I was able to pull his hat off, but I really don't care for the glitter all over his beard. And I kind of want to vintage him a bit. So that's why I wanted to pull his hat off. I did end up getting it off, and I took off as much of that glitter as I could. It's a very subtle glitter. It's not too bad, but I still don't care for it. I did go back over and paint him white. I thought that would go a little bit better with what I have for my decorations. I do use some antique wax on him as well too. And I do my distressing with my ink chalk paint around all the edges on my frame as well. Now to fix the hat, I did trim that area off. I don't think I show it on here. The back of it, I was going to use that burlap, and instead, because I couldn't find a piece that I had big enough to cover it, I decided to use this birch ribbon from Dollar Tree I had in my stash from last year. And it's so easy, the way the pattern's on it, to hide a seam. So I could use a couple of pieces. Now, it is a bit fiddly, just because of the type of ribbon that it is. But if you get it good and adhered down and smooth out any of the wrinkles, you really don't see the seam or the line. And I'm able to cover the back of that frame pretty easily. And I used that rather than the burlap. So I got the back of my frame covered completely, and here's my Santa. You can see I cut away the burnt part on his hat, and now I glued the hat back on him, and I'm putting a new, larger pom-pom on him. I think it goes a little better anyway. I don't think I got video of it, but I also put some Jenga or craft blocks on the back of him to help him stand off this frame a bit as well too, because his hat kind of lifts him up, and that helped to adhere him down to this frame as well. But I think he turned out pretty cool, a little more vintage look than he was. And I think he goes really great on this metal frame. Let me know what you guys think of this one. I did add a little pop of Christmas floral to his hat as well too. Let me know what you think. Here are all my projects together. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments and which one you would like to recreate. I absolutely loved bringing you these thrift flip projects, and I hope you enjoyed them. Is anyone else getting ready for Christmas and doing some crafty projects? I am in the mood. So let me know in the comments if you are as well. If you have not subscribed, I'd love you to join my crafty family. And please hit the like button. That helps my YouTube channel. As always, have a great day.